Thanks for logging on to watch.com. I'm Garrett Biedenball here in the SkyWatch Weather Center. Time for a check of your Tropics Watch, and we have something to talk about out in the Gulf of Mexico. Here we have Tropical Storm Karen in the Gulf of Mexico. Maximum sustained winds at this early hour on Friday morning by 8 a.m. is 60 miles per hour for our maximum sustained winds. That's what the hurricane hunters have found out in the Gulf of Mexico flying around in this storm. The pressure is 1,003 millibars, so it has gone up a little bit from earlier Friday morning, and so that is a good thing for a weakening storm, but we do anticipate it to re-strengthen just a little bit as it heads over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, plus interacting with an upper level trough that will kind of fan it out and give it a lot of breathing room up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Tropics Watch with our water vapor imagery. You see a very moist atmosphere in the eastern half of the Gulf of Mexico, but also some drier air off in the northwestern half of the Gulf of Mexico. And so some of this dry air is preventing it from becoming more symmetric, and these storms need to be very symmetric and all around with the circulation and thunderstorms all around that circulation to intensify. And so that's why this storm is maintaining its tropical storm strength over those warm waters, is because all of those storms are actually getting sheared off to the east too, with some upper level winds that aren't favorable for a lot of intensification. So 20 to 30 knots worth of shear winds blowing it to the east out in the Gulf of Mexico. Here's where our model data, the forecast models, believe the center will go. So you have to focus the center of circulation, and you saw all those storms on the eastern half. So when it does come up towards South Carolina, if it does take any of these tracks, we could be on the eastern side. And so that's why we'll need to keep tuned here to the SkyWatch Weather Center to see if we could have a lot of rain, maybe some gusty winds, and the possibility of isolated severe weather. We're talking isolated tornadoes, quick spin-ups here with these systems. We have a history of doing that with any landfalling tropical cyclone. So these are the latest forecast models as of Friday morning. We'll see what happens. We'll keep on refining this forecast, and hopefully we'll be able to get those model data from being so spread apart. But for right now, it looks like we will have impacts from this rain and some gusty winds at times. So it'll be weaker by the time it gets to us than it is when it makes landfall somewhere along the Gulf Coast states, anywhere from Louisiana down to the Big Bend of Florida. And it could be packing maybe 70-mile-per-hour winds. 74 makes it a hurricane. So we don't believe it'll become a hurricane, but if it does spend more time over water on the right side of this track, then it could be stronger, making landfall. So you see the track from the National Hurricane Center has it going right through the upstate of South Carolina, so we would be on that eastern side. So we'll be keeping watch here in the SkyWatch Weather Center. So here are the current hurricane watches, tropical storm watches and warnings down on the Louisiana coast, Mississippi, Alabama, parts of Florida. But for us, of course, we are staying dry for today. We'll keep you updated here in the SkyWatch Weather Center. We'll be back with much more tonight on Watch Fox News at 10 with Henry Rothenberg.